It's really about alignment. It's about having a common vision in values. It's about understanding what each brand stands for and making sure that we're being mutually beneficial. Bringing the best that each brand has to bring to the table and making sure that they mesh as nicely as they can. It's all about showing me the money. It really is. There's a lot of appeal behind sponsorship and a lot of people going into it without really giving it too much thought. But without doing so, you could just be throwing good money after bad. So it's really about establishing key performance indicators. It's defining how are we going to measure success and making sure that we bring that success to life with a quantitative figure as much as we possibly can. This is not about being a subjective initiative. This is an objective and a valuable and a quantitative objective. Data is the lifeblood of what really determines a strong sponsorship or not. There's so much that can be measured. There's actually probably too much that can be measured. So it's important to really define what are the three, maybe two key performance indicators that we're going to really measure and make sure that we're studying them, that we're testing, that we're reiterating, and making sure that we're really keeping a very close eye, not only on what the objective was, but what the result it's actually delivering is. The reason brand finance measures both brand value and brand strength of sports teams is because ultimately they're some of the most valuable franchises on the planet. If you look at the NFL, if you look at Major League Soccer, if you look at the soccer leagues in the United Kingdom, they are, in some of the cases, some of the most valuable brands, but they're also the most international and the most easily to transfer assets across the globe. So though a fan base might be very, very strong in London, there's a good chance that there's an equally strong base on the other side of the planet. So these are brands that aren't only strong in their hometowns, these are brands that are probably some of the best ambassadors for their countries globally. It's very important to quantify this because at the end of the day, they're assets. And just like any other asset, whether it's tangible or intangible asset, not only do you have to understand the value, but you have to manage for value. So really understanding what the value of your brand is today, be it a sports brand or be it a consumer brand, be it a beer brand, it's important to understand not only where you are today, but where you could be tomorrow and how to get there. And using brand value, brand strength as a metric to indicate where you are and where you could be is something that all parties, whether you're on the CFO side or the CMO side, can relate to and should understand that language. A football team's brand is brutally important for an organization. It is the article that helps unlock value both in their own native countries as well as internationally. These brands open doors where they probably don't even know that they exist. So managing those brands, be it locally and internationally, is equally important. We see brands like the NFL, we see some of these sports teams that are going above and beyond the United States. They're competing in the UK, they're competing in Latin America. The Chargers were in Brazil, Cowboys are going to play in Mexico next year. So these are brands that travel, and because they do so, it's got to be managed on a global scale, not necessarily on a local scale. I think one of the most eye-opening results of this year's brand finance result is that the Cowboys, despite not having won the Super Bowl in 20-some years, continue to be the most valuable brand in the league. Just goes to show that brand management takes place not only on the field, but off the field as well. You see what the Cowboys do with Netflix and the cheerleaders. You see what the Cowboys do in merchandising. You see what the Cowboys do from an advertising perspective. It's probably an actually bigger and stronger brand off the field than it is on the field today. And that, to me, continues to be an eye-opener.